I think everything I've touched in the last, especially 4 years since I quit my job. I quit
Yeah.
end of 21. Now we're almost at end of 25.
Mhm.
Everything I've done in the last 4 years has been unplanned in some ways. I didn't plan to write a book on immigration. I didn't
Mhm.
plan to write a novel that's a
Yeah.
platonic love story novel. I didn't plan to host a 1,000 member summit.
Mhm.
Um, but all of it happened from either a sense of deep struggle, personal
Mhm.
struggle,
Mhm.
or because I could feel that the market was pushing me towards that.
Hi everyone, here is a little funny story. I was invited to the Open Atlas Summit 2025 but couldn't make it because of family commitments. Life has its way though. Today, I get to sit down with the mastermind behind it, Soundarya Balasubramani, from chemical engineer to best-selling author to summit organizer. Her journey is incredible. In this chat, she opens up about what it really took to pull it off, the sleepless nights, and the power of community. Trust me, you all want to hear this.
Hey, Soundarya.
I
I'm so excited to finally have this conversation with you. And I was literally scrolling through LinkedIn after the summit, seeing all these incredible posts from attendees. And I'm thinking, damn, I miss something special. And this might be even better because I know I get to hear the real story, the behind the scenes, post summit with kind of stuff. So, how are you feeling
absolutely.
right now? Weeks and since the summit, has it sunk in yet?
It has been
Uh huh.
exactly 3 weeks since the summit, I want to say.
Hmm.
Yeah, the summit was August 15th. So about 3.5 weeks since the summit. I'm feeling great. I mean, you're looking at, this background. It's so beautiful and peaceful here. There
Yeah,
is, I think, one or two human beings in a 10-mile radius around me. So
that's so
um,
calming.
it's exactly the opposite of what the summit felt like. The summit was full of people and chaos and momentum, movement, a lot
Mhm.
of reactive um, moments. But I think the last few weeks have been the opposite. Since I came to the farm here, I just wake up and I spend most of the day in solitude, and I go back to sleep.
Yeah,
So I feel great.
that's incredible. What's fascinating to me was looking at your journey, and it's like you have been so many different people, right? Chemical engineer, then sales
Yes.
manager, the author, not just one book, but three completely different books. And now you're organizing. I'm sitting here wondering, is there some common thread that connects all these versions of Saundarya?
It's a great question. And I think that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life because I wish
Mm-hmm.
I knew. I think everything I've touched in the last, especially 4 years since I quit my job, I quit
Yeah.
end of 21. Now we're almost at end of 25.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've done in the last 4 years has been unplanned in some ways. I didn't plan to write a book on immigration. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
plan to write a novel that's a
Yeah.
platonic love story novel. I didn't plan to host a 1,000 member summit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all of it happened from either a sense of deep struggle, personal
Mm-hmm.
struggle,
Mm-hmm.
or because I could feel that the market was pushing me towards that.
Right.
So, Unshackled was entirely driven by the community. I did
Mm-hmm.
not set out to write a book or build anything for skilled immigrants, but I felt like, oh, there's a need here.
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of people who are responding to my emails and comments, sharing how
Yeah.
painful this is for them. And I know how painful it is because I got an O1 visa denied and I went through a very long process.
Yeah.
So it just felt right at the time. And so the common thread is either trying to scale the solution that you found for a personal struggle or
Right.
following what the market is looking for.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because from the outside, you look like you are just fearlessly jumping from one thing to another. But I'm sure I feel like there is something deeper there, personal challenges and lot of other things as well.
Yeah, I can tell you with certainty that
Mm-hmm.
I have switched careers more than most people I know, and every single time it's terrifying. I
Yeah.
don't think I think it maybe seems fearless, and that's nice of you to say that. It
Mhm.
definitely comes with a lot of fear and several journal entries of where I would write things like, "What
Mhm.
the hell am I doing? I have no idea." I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm useless. There's so much of under the iceberg fear and vulnerability that goes on.
Yeah.
Even right now, as I'm done with my third book,
Mhm.
as I was telling you, I literally finished today, right before jumping on this podcast. So you've caught me on such an opportunistic day, and I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to you because I can look back on this podcast for how I
Awesome.
felt the day
Thank
I finished the book. So
you. Really.
even now I feel the sense of, oh God, what comes next? I don't really know where I will be in 6 months, what I'll be doing, but
Yeah.
I now I now I'm less scared than before. 4 years ago when I quit my job, I was just scared. But
Mm.
now I am 10% scared, 20% worried, but 70% just excited for the next.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. And you know what? That evolution mindset, I feel like it perfectly set you up for what happened this August. Because organizing the Open Atlas Summit, this wasn't just an event, this is better than anyone. And this was a freaking movement. And I'm
Oh,
sure your challenges, your journey helped you all the way.
yeah, I was actually particularly telling the team, do not use the word movement as much as you can because I was a little shy to use such words. I think what we did was
Hmm.
magical. I can say that much because I saw I was tagged in more than 100 posts on LinkedIn the
Yeah.
next few weeks, and people didn't just say, "Oh, it was a good summit." "Oh, I had a great time." People said things like, "Oh my God, it was life changing. It was transforming. I met some of the nicest people I've ever met, some of the
Mm.
kindest people," which
Yeah.
is, I think, a great compliment.
Hmm.
Um, so I do feel like our hard work paid off. I can say that much. Even
Absolutely.
it's hard for me to pinpoint and say this is what we did right, but
Hmm.
I can guess a few things that we got right that
Yeah.
led to this incredible love that people had for the summit.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I have to know, take me back to that moment. You are sitting somewhere, maybe with your coffee, maybe pacing around, and suddenly you are like, you know what? I am going to organize the largest summit. What was that moment? Like, how does that thought even enter your brain?
Good question. Also, I do not drink coffee. I've
Okay.
almost never had coffee in my life. The very first moment, I think there were a few inflection points for the summit. The
Okay.
very, very, very first time was in April 2024. I was on a book tour for Unshackled
Mm-hmm.
across 15 universities in the US.
Mm-hmm.
One of the universities was in New York, so I needed a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to a friend named Nikin Taran.
Uh-huh.
I had interviewed Nikin for a chapter in my book. So
Okay.
in Unshackled, chapter 13 is on the EB1A visa, and Nikin's story was covered in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew him through that. That's all the relation I had with him. I
Mm-hmm.
asked him, could I stay? He said, yes, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
So while staying there with him that night, we ended up talking until 4 a.m. Me, him, and his wife, and Narayan, who was with me on the book tour. And Nikin almost casually said, why are you going to 15 different places, figuring out logistics, moving boxes, hauling things? Why not have people come to one place? Why not you organize something in California and get everyone to come there? I
Mm-hmm.
think he meant that as a joke. Maybe he was half kidding, but that planted a seed for me. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm a huge obsessive note taker. So
Wow.
anytime I get ideas, I go note it down in a place. At
Mm-hmm.
some point, I might have seen that in the future and thought, huh, I
Mm-hmm.
could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until December of 2024
Mm-hmm.
when myself, Nikin, and another person named RK, Ratnakumar, we
Mm-hmm.
were sitting and chatting about, hey, maybe we should do the conference. I mean, it's high time someone did it. And I think we had the unique mix of skills in some ways.
Right.
I feel like I had the skill of shepherding people together
Mm-hmm.
and getting them to come for a common cause. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, at least with the high skilled immigrant community, I'd done that in the past with my book tour, book launch, book community, many things.
Right.
Nikin took up the role of taking care of everything related to sponsors, trying
Mm-hmm.
to get the right sponsors to come, partners to come. And
Right.
RK took care of some of the logistics for us in terms of getting the venue booked and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the good complementary skills, and we officially launched about the event in January of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we launched tickets in March of this year.
Wow.
And in August of this year, we had the actual summit. But
Mhm.
it's so interesting how time has this weird. Right now, the summit feels to me like it's a year old. It's been
Yeah,
3 weeks. But
I
in
know.
my mind, I feel so much happened in those 2 days at the summit. I think it was a lifetime of memories in 2 days that
Absolutely.
I am, I'm still in kind of a shock from it.
Absolutely. And it says so much about the kind of relationship you build with people, with community. Yeah.
I, I think my favorite part from the summit was the volunteers. We even met once after we met for an after party the next day, but
Mm-hmm.
we met sometime last week for just an internal session.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there is a sense of camaraderie. I hope it maintains because things fizzle out with time,
Mm-hmm.
but I do see this summit happening next year. So, we'll come together again.
Awesome. So you have a blueprint, know how to function around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So, and 1,000 people, Soundarya, like I'm trying to organize a dinner party for 8 people and I'm stressed about the sitting here. And you are out there coordinating 1,000-person summit, logistics, speakers.
The funny thing is, it's equally exhausting, both of them. Uh,
Uh-huh.
that's what I was thinking the other day because I organized a birthday party for 15 people at my house for about a month or so ago for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before the summit. I think you still do the same level of work for, 25% or 1,000%. The stakes are much higher for
Yeah.
1,000 people, especially when they pay money and they
Mm-hmm.
come expecting certain things. But in terms of the planning itself, there are certain areas you have to plan for. You
Mm-hmm.
start with number one, number of people, the budget for the summit.
Yeah.
Then you start thinking of, okay, the cost is going to be this much. Where do we make this money from? You
Mm-hmm.
make it from generally ticket sales,
Mm-hmm.
sponsorships. And then once you have that kind of inflow, you start thinking, okay, who's going to come speak at the summit?
Mm-hmm.
Who are going to come moderate sessions? What kind of session should we have?
Right.
And and then at some point, you start thinking about how many volunteers do we need? What
Yeah.
roles do we assign to these volunteers?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's the same 5, 6 buckets that you plan for any event, regardless of the scale that you're planning it for. I think for a 1,000 member event, I'm trying to think of what was most surprising for me. Because even I have not done a 1,000 member event. I've done 200, 300 people in the past, but never this much.
Mm-hmm.
I think you always either underestimate or overestimate food.
Yeah.
We tried so hard to get close to let's not waste any food. Let's not
Mm-hmm.
have no food because that's even worse. You always want to have extra food. So we told but the caterer was so good that they were able to quickly get another 100 boxes on the spot when we needed it. So that was fine. The second thing I was worried about is even though people buy tickets, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they don't show up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can never estimate how many people will fill all the rooms. I was
Mm-hmm.
very scared because during the Open Atlas Summit on Saturday, we had 4 sessions happening in parallel in 4 different rooms.
Wow.
We were scared. What if we don't have anyone for one session? What if everyone wants to go to one session and not the others?
Right.
But somehow that worked out beautifully. And I think the secret is
Yeah.
our rooms were really small. So each
Huh.
room could only accommodate 50 to 70 people.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, I don't think more people than 50 would want to even go for this.
Wow.
But we were actually wrong. Many sessions were fully crowded and almost sold out in a sense. And people couldn't get in because there was no space. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a much better scenario than having no one in a room.
Right.
So that was another pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah.
Um,
That's incredible. And would you mind walking me through the magnitude of this? I mean, the numbers alone must be insane, logistics, speakers, when you, as you said, you were a lot of people flying in. And what point did you look at your to-do list and think, what have I gotten myself into?
hmm, that's a good question. Huh. What have I gotten myself into? Many, many, many times, especially in the 3 months before the summit, I
Mhm.
felt this sense of, why are we doing the job fair? The job fair was the single most emotionally draining part of the summit for all of us because
Mhm.
we tried so hard to get companies to come.
Yeah.
It was quite easy to get students to come once the influencers began to talk about it. I mean,
Mhm.
we were sold out in a week, and we had about 300 people on the wait list who could not get a ticket because
Mhm.
we just didn't have space.
Mhm.
We really wanted to have a 1 is to 10 ratio. So for every one student you have, sorry, every 10 students you have one startup. I think
Mhm.
at some point we were like, okay, 1 is to 10 is not possible. Too many
Mhm.
students want to get in. Let's do 1 is to 15 ratio.
Right.
Um, so that meant we had to get about 30 employers into
Mhm.
the room.
Mhm.
We probably reached out to, I don't even know, thousands of employers to try to get 30 employers.
Wow.
Um, because the pitch was not just come hire people, but come
Mm.
hire people on OPTs and STEM OPTs. And so few employers were okay with that. They didn't even know what OPT meant or STEM OPT meant. So I think we put our every single like effort we could into trying to get companies to come for students.
Yeah.
But so many times I paused to think, why are we doing this job fair? We didn't even make that much money from the job fair. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to the total revenue we made, the job fair was a fraction of it. We
Mm.
could have easily let it go.
Right.
But time and again, anytime one of us would be like, why are we doing this?
Mhm.
Someone would just come and say, look, no one has pulled this off before. You
Yeah.
have to set a precedent by doing it for international students, so more people will do it for international students.
Yeah.
I'm so glad someone did that because I think we made some mistakes in the job fair, but we set a precedent now.
Yeah.
Now someone else can look at us, point and say, look, they did a job fair for students on OPT. Let's do this again and let's follow this blueprint.
Mm.
So I'm in fact the person who volunteered and organized our job fair is
Mm.
doing two more in the coming months for students again. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you guys have set up a benchmark, you know. I mean, it's
Yeah,
definitely your
hope
hard
so.
work has paid off. And you know what really got me through? I read your post about crying from exhaustion after it ended. And you
Yeah.
mentioned there were 25 times you thought, can I do this? That's so real. I think people need to hear this part. We see the success, the 1,000 people showing up, the amazing photos. But what about those dark moments? What almost broke you? Because I feel like this is where the real story is.
It is. And
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that out. Um, oh man. I try to block out the months of June and July from 2025 in my mind because
Mhm.
I so many low moments, so many moments I broke down and cried. It's hard to count the number of times. I think a lot of people didn't think we could do it. I didn't think I could do it.
Mhm.
And sponsors would say yes and then back out. A speaker might do the same thing. Someone might buy a ticket and want a refund. I mean, very normal things. I think I'm not complaining of any of this. This
Yeah,
is this is what it's like to organize a summit. I just think
it's part and parcel of any organization. Yeah.
exactly those 2 months were really dark, and I can't even go into some of the details. But let's just say that so many moments I felt like, fuck, I just want to run away and go to a farm like
Mhm.
the one I'm in right now.
Mhm.
Why am I doing what? Why am I working so hard? Truth be told, I think people think that we made hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit.
Mhm.
That is absolutely not true. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if I can reveal the exact numbers because I have to check with other people as well. But
Mhm.
the amount of money, I can tell you this, the amount of money I made as profit, me, just me, from this whole summit, I would have made that money in 6 weeks at Salesforce at a corporate job.
Mhm.
But this summit took 6 months of nonstop effort. So for anyone who thinks that this is about the money, it couldn't be further from the truth. I could do a million other things and make that money in like a month if I really wanted money. Um, and same with all of us, right? Not just me, but my co-organizers, our volunteers who gave their time for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that when you're doing working on something that's not going to get you that much money,
Mm-hmm.
something that is going to come with so many rejections and low moments,
Yeah.
um, the reason you still keep going is you have this vague idea of a payoff in the end.
Yeah.
You know, this idea of like, okay, one day it's coming, the day is coming, you're going to still bring together hundreds of people, maybe even 1,000 people,
Yeah.
and along the way have fun with all the other people. I mean, the volunteers and the team made it fun, really, really fun along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting if if you come and ask me, would you do this again, knowing the hard work that went into it, or not even the hard work, but knowing what it took
Yeah.
away from you to make this happen? I probably would say no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about doing hard things. And I literally posted a quote today on my LinkedIn about this. That
Mm-hmm.
there's this famous quote: "We don't do this because it's easy.
Yeah.
We do this because we thought it would be easy." It's the
Absolutely.
same thing with a summit, a book, a company, climbing a mountain. You think it's easier than it actually is going to be. And halfway through, you realize, fuck, okay, this is actually really hard. Why did I start doing this? But now you can't really go back because you put all this time and effort.
Exactly.
And so forward is the only motion.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to do that is hopefully have people around you that you can lean on for support.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% Soundarya. I just get what you are saying here. And, it takes so much courage to share. You mentioned roadblocks and obstacles that made you think it was impossible. And I know you probably can't go into all those details, but what were the challenges that could have completely ruined the summit?
Mm, okay, nothing could have completely ruined it except for us, like us just saying we don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, maybe sponsors pulling out, but I also think even if a sponsor had pulled out, we would have put our own money to do it.
Yeah.
If push comes to shove and we had no other option, we would have done that. So I think we knew that we are going to do this. No matter what, we'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just that we still had moments when each of us felt this sense of defeat. I think defeat is the right word. So
Mm-hmm.
many days in those months preceding the event, I felt a sense of, you're like, you have to wake up that day and go fight.
Yeah.
You have to put on a suit and go and do the work. But all you want to do is lie in bed. You don't really want to wake up and do that anymore. But you do it anyway
True.
because that's what sets apart people who get things done from people who complain and never get things done. So, but yeah, I mean, I I'm making it sound quite sour and solemn. It was there were many challenging moments, but I think the payoff in the end,
Mm-hmm.
the number of people who came up and said that this summit was life changing for them, or that they met their co-founder at the summit, or a long lost friend
Oh,
or a
yeah.
neighbor from childhood. I feel like just yesterday I got an email from someone who attended summit saying
Mm-hmm.
they met a sponsor of the summit
Mm-hmm.
who they had known from before, and now they've been hired full time by this sponsor's company. And so
Wow.
they emailed saying this only happened because I came to the summit. I got a job offer. So
Great.
I think the payoff is more than worth all the struggle. And that's why I wrote in my post where
Mm-hmm.
I cried from exhaustion. I wrote in the end that,
You're
yeah,
just gonna
yeah,
break that up. You don't do it despite the suffering, you do it because of it.
exactly. I think we all like to suffer on some level because we know suffering is what leads to growth. You
Yeah.
can't really become any, you can't really become great at anything
Yeah.
worthwhile doing unless you suffer for it. So it's just a question of what do you want to get great at,
Yeah.
and is that still worth the suffering? I would say I want to be truly a great writer. I want to be known as someone who was able to tell stories that moved people, that touched people. And
Yeah.
if that means suffering in a farm in solitude for months, I
Mm-hmm.
would do it. If
Mm-hmm.
that means ripping apart your manuscript that you wrote with all of your heart and soul and
Mm-hmm.
redoing it all over again and again and again and again, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it because That's how you become a great writer.
Absolutely. You wrote something that's been stuck in my head since I read it. You don't do it despite the
Yeah.
suffering, and you do it because of it. That's profound. Like that completely flips the narrative. Can you explain a little bit about the philosophy to our listeners? Because I think it might be the secret sauce to everything you have accomplished.
That's oh, I mean, I don't even think I've accomplished anything that worthy, but I will not feign modesty as well. I know that some of the things I've done are valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the philosophy, wow, it's changed a lot in the last 4 years. Once again, I am not the person I was since I quit my job 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I think about passion differently now, money differently. I think about hard work differently.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we can pick one vertical first. We can start with money. I think money is one of the primary factors that prevent people from quitting their jobs
Mm-hmm.
because someone wrote this concept of entropy.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about how we all hate entropy as humans.
Mm-hmm.
Entropy is the sense of things going out of order.
Mm-hmm.
We humans love things to be in order. Like you want this bottle to be like this in a solid form.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want this to disintegrate in your hands. That's a really bad example. But my point being, we like to open a calendar and see exactly what we're going to do in a week.
True.
Even though we all dream of a calendar that has nothing on it, a free calendar, I
Mm-hmm.
think the moment you have a free calendar, you feel incredibly overwhelmed and anxious
Mm-hmm.
because now you have to make 100 decisions every day that before you didn't. When I was at Salesforce, I didn't wake up and have to think, what's the first thing I should do? What's the second thing? What's the third thing? Because you probably do 100 things in your day.
Yeah.
At Salesforce, I knew this is the priority that, my manager's manager gave me. So I have
Mm-hmm.
to work on this first. The moment I quit my job, that all of that changed. And so, when I think about money again,
Yeah.
we all like that stability, that order, that we know we will get
Mm-hmm.
$10,000 coming into our account every month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first 6 months after I quit my job, I definitely had this almost romantic idea of passion over money.
Yeah.
I thought I just felt the sense of I'm doing the righteous thing. I
Mm-hmm.
quit my job. I went against the norm. I swam against the tide.
Yeah.
I I said no to something that most people don't have the courage to say no to, which
Yeah.
is
And we are in
money
the
and
area.
stability, right? um, and I'm still very proud of the fact that I was so foolishly optimistic and stubborn.
Yeah.
Um, over the years, I think my view there has softened. I wouldn't say it's changed, but
Mm-hmm.
I respect what money can do for you in your life right now because there were months in those initial 6 months when I would wake up, feel this sense of righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
go to my co working space all dressed, sit down, and be like, let's start typing, let's start writing my book. And within the first sentence, I would think, oh shit, I have to pay rent next month. How am I going to make money?
Yeah.
So you can try to fight the instinct, but that's your basic instinct. That's how your brain is going to think.
Yeah.
Your brain is going to worry about survival and the basic needs before it thinks about self actualization and transcendence and so on.
Yeah.
So I worried about money a lot in those 6 months and it robbed me of creativity so much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first week I remember after I quit my job, when I felt peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
was the week after I raised $100,000 for Unshackled.
Brilliant.
This was almost a year, more than a year after I quit my job.
Mm-hmm.
I finally raised enough money to not think about it for some. And
Mm.
then I went all in. I loved those next 6 months when I put my heart and soul into Unshackled, into writing this book. And I flourished so well intellectually.
Wow.
So now my opinion is that you absolutely have to worry about and think about and make money.
Mm-hmm.
But um, I right now I try to bucket my life. I
Mm-hmm.
would maybe spend 20% of my time these days thinking slash worrying slash
Mm-hmm.
doing things that solely make money.
Mm-hmm.
But I would try to still keep 70% of my time focusing on how can I create long-term wealth?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
there's a difference, right? Money versus long-term wealth.
Yeah.
I think I just finished a book, Thousand Days of Love.
Mm-hmm.
Thousand Days of Love took me easily over 1,000 hours to finish. 1,000 hours of unpaid labor,
Yeah.
where it's not just that I didn't make money, I lost money by not doing productive work that could have made me some money.
You're writing
So
about.
it's a beautiful love story. But
Okay.
my point is, I spent 1,000 hours doing this thing that
Mm.
has cost me
Mm.
probably tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
And I still did it because in my mind, I'm like, this is long term wealth for me. This
Mm-hmm.
is improving my skill as a writer, um, going towards this long term goal of becoming a great writer, and
Mm-hmm.
creating an asset that, if it takes off,
Mm-hmm.
could create hundreds of thousands in value someday, maybe even millions.
Right.
So I think right now my philosophy is that you absolutely have to worry about money, but
Mm-hmm.
try to maybe bucket your weeks and days to
Mm-hmm.
keep some like certain amount of time where all you think about is how do I intelligently make enough revenue every month so I don't worry about it,
Yeah.
while keeping the rest of the time focusing on long-term wealth and assets.
Absolutely. It makes sense because currently uh, job market is very hazy. It's not about particular entrepreneur or business or any particular field. It's about everyone. Like whoever is doing 9 to 5 job, it's for everyone where you have to think about this philosophy and just work around it. This is incredible.
Yeah, the jobs is an interesting one because if I was a student and I had a loan
Mm-hmm.
over my hanging over my head all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I think building long-term assets would be not a priority for me. I can completely understand for students who are desperate to just get a job for
Yeah.
their both their visa and for financial stability.
Yeah.
Um, I still think it's important to invest at least a minority of your time towards longer term wealth and assets. But once again, I mean, I I didn't do that myself. When I was a student, I was so worried. So I can't practice or preach without practicing. So I can only advise people now.
Absolutely. I mean, lately I have been talking to a lot of people. They are more talking about the slower life, calmer mind, less worry about the money and more about the happiness and peace. So I think it resonates. You know, where you don't have to worry about next few months, years. You have to think about your efforts you are putting in your present time.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's shift gear a little bit here. And what I think is genius about what you did, the creator lounge.
Mm.
And there were so many creators, and Sai holds a special place as the very first guest on my podcast. I'm
Oh, lovely.
grateful to have had him on, bringing together the influential immigrant creators under one roof for the first time ever. That's not just the event planning, that's like community architecture, right? So, how did you even convince these creators to come? Because these are busy people with their own brands and schedules. And what?
Definitely. It's a huge chicken and egg problem. And of course, I think what helped is that I myself am a creator. And
Hmm.
there are some people who I already knew who are my friends.
Hmm.
So with those people, I could just almost be like, hey, friend, please do me this favor and show up for my event and be a speaker.
Yeah,
Thank God some of them said yes and they were available. But once you have the critical mass, it's
yeah,
very easy to convince the other people because the thing that you need to generate in
hmm,
any event is a sense of fear of missing out. Like
right.
you have to put together an event that is so good
Hmm.
that people physically feel the sense of sadness for not being there. Um, and so I think we did a decent job of that because I know a lot of people who were so sad they couldn't attend because they weren't in the country. They couldn't make it. They were in India, some reason or the other.
I am one of them.
Um, right.
Yeah,
And the Creator Lounge, we began with this vague idea that, okay, we should try to get 50 creators to come to this lounge.
yeah,
And the criteria we had was we want people who are immigrants themselves. We don't
hmm,
care about nationality, but we want immigrants.
yeah,
We don't care about them talking about immigration.
hmm,
They can talk about whatever they want. We just want them to resonate with this theme of an immigrant, building a home away from home. Wow. It's really windy outside.
Yeah.
You can see some
Peaceful as well, calming and peaceful.
it's yeah, it's like a
I
beach
wish.
nearby.
Yeah.
But once we had those criteria, we just reached out to 200 people through my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
probably more. And we told all of them, look, we're doing something no one's done before.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fun party.
Yeah.
You'll get to meet the people you've looked up to for a while in one room. How cool is that? So, yeah, so about 40 people said yes.
Wow.
I think most of them were able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And Creator Lounge was my favorite. I got to meet these people that I have only seen through a two-dimensional screen all these years. And
Mm-hmm.
they got to see each other for the first time. I'm a huge sucker for being the connector of two people. I
Yeah.
love knowing that I made a small contribution towards these people connecting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I get that from Rajesh,
Mm-hmm.
who is my everything. He's my turning point in life. He's the one who inspired Thousand Days of Love.
Mm-hmm.
He calls himself a super connector.
Mm-hmm.
He says he makes more than 700 connections a year for people.
Wow.
And he just does it effortlessly.
Are you
So
serious?
I aspire to become like that. I want to be the kind of person who
Mm-hmm.
can bring in possibilities for other people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The Creator Lounge was just the perfect way for me to do that.
Yeah. Love that. You're thinking about connecting people and you are arranging so many things.
Thank you. I mean, I definitely, a lot of people have thanked me for the summit, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful, but also shy to take the credit because I know how many people worked on it in the back end. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was kind of a face for the summit because I am the most, how do I say this? Like annoyingly vocal person online. I post on LinkedIn every day. I post on Instagram and YouTube every day. So you see a lot of me on social media. But I mean, the amount of people who did these insanely boring, redundant, thankless jobs on the back end,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even. There's more than 50 people for sure like
Wow.
that.
Yeah. And let's talk about the haters for a second. And you said people told you that you couldn't pull this off. And I'm sitting here looking at the success of this summit and I'm like, who are these people? More importantly, how did that doubt from others fuel you?
Yeah, I mean that's a, how do I say this? Kind of an abstracted version of some of the challenges. What I wrote there. No one, of course, came to me to my face and said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you will not be able to pull this off."
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is people don't have the courage to say such things. Not
Mm-hmm.
even the courage. People become I think social media brings out the worst of
Yeah.
ourselves, sadly. Especially when you're anonymous on social media, it
Mm.
brings out the worst in you, not the best in you.
Yeah.
So you start to show your suffering and jealousy and anger in interesting ways.
Yeah.
And many times that comes out as trying to bring someone else down,
Yeah.
trying to doubt their capabilities, trying to see if there's anything you can pick from their life that would be ammunition to
Yeah.
destroy them.
True.
So we definitely had a lot of people like that who did not think we could do this or thought that the summit was almost like a front for something different. And we were like, dude, this is a summit. We're
Yeah.
bringing people together. That's all we're trying to do here. Nothing more than that. I wish this was some elaborate scheme, but it was just a summit.
Yeah.
So in that way, a lot of people, I think, use this cloak of anonymity to, and I don't even blame them in a way. I
Yeah.
kind of get it. I've been on social media enough to know that when we throw rocks at someone, when we judge someone else,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, it's something stemming from within us. And I know this because when I judge other people,
Yeah.
when I judge you, let's say, because you published a book right now, let's for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting hundreds of reviews on Amazon, great reviews, and I start to judge you and feel jealous and think, oh, maybe she didn't do all the work herself. I think she took help from someone else and did it. I don't think she did this by herself. It says very little about you, and it
Mm-hmm.
says mostly a lot about me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I tell myself that it's hurtful when you see comments online that misunderstand what you're doing or mistrust what you're doing. But also, all of us have this very interesting warped realities of our life, wherein what you can look at a tree and think entirely something different from what I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm thinking, oh, what a beautiful tree. And you're thinking, oh, look at the leaves on the tree, like the colors. It reminds me of this thing from my childhood. I'm
yeah.
just saying that our realities are so um, contingent on our lives' experiences
Right.
that I don't even feel any negativity or hate towards people who may have negativity towards me. I just feel like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try to, prove you wrong and actively try to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
You think what you think, but I'm going to move on with my life and do things that make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's how the whole thing played out is no one said it to my face. I think people are too nice to say such things to anyone's faces. Thankfully, at least
That's
we're nice enough to not say that to each other.
yeah,
But I'm actually grateful. I mean, it's fun to be on the other side of something, right? Now that the summit is done, everyone's happy.
yeah,
Life is beautiful again. The sky is blue, grass is green. I'm just like, cool. I mean, everyone who may have doubted,
yeah.
thanks to you, I worked extra hard to make sure that everyone's happy now. So I'm
Absolutely.
glad.
Yeah. And grass is always greener on other side, but it's greener where you water it down. I strongly believe a reality comes from people's experiences, their mindset, their childhood, their adulthood, whatever the experiences they are going through it comes from that, and the judging capability are coming from that. It just stems out.
Yeah. And also, I realized, Renuka, that the world is so, 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 so much bigger than what we think it is in our heads. And
Mm-hmm.
I say this as someone who's mostly in her head.
Yeah.
I tend to overthink a lot. I tend to almost like put myself in a box in my mind and keep having the same recurring thoughts over and over again until someone snaps me out of it and says, look, you're not the center of the world. There's a
Yeah.
big world outside of you. You're insignificant for the most part. So every time I start to let these, challenges get to me, I just remind myself that, yeah, the world is, you just have to walk outside on the street and look around and you'll realize everyone is suffering.
Yeah.
Every single person that you see on the street has lost a loved one
Yeah.
or will lose the person they love the most at some point in their lives.
True.
I don't think we think about that enough as people.
Mm-hmm.
When we throw all these, negative comments towards each other, we stop to think this is a human being who's lost a parent or will lose a parent at
Yeah.
some point,
Yeah.
who's lost a kid, who's lost a wife, a husband. And the last year has living on farms, especially by myself, thinking most of the time has made me realize how much suffering there is in the world and how I'm really keeping my North Star as much as possible as reduce the suffering in every interaction you have with people, in everything you create and put out there, and also for yourself, because I'm part of that as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad we are talking about this, Soundarya. You are bringing this up. Very few people talk about this, and we are talking through it. And you know what blows me away? Weeks later, people are still posting about connections and the opportunities from the summit. Feels incredible, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this woman has done something great.
Thank you so much. I really help keep going because we all need some level of positive reinforcement to keep going and keep doing the things we want. I did so many podcasts
Yay.
earlier this year, but this is the first one after, and
Yeah.
you've given me such a great opportunity to sit down and reflect, which is
Awesome. I'm
so
so
hard to do these days.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm like, I was feeling bad that weekend in 16th of August. I'm like, I should go, but I couldn't go.
Oh,
I have to catch her and talk about this summit. This is great. I know we are just
you
sitting
did
here.
it.
Yeah, awesome. I need you to paint this picture for me the day arrives. Now we have talking about the preparation and everything. Now let's talk about you have gone through hell for 3 months.
I'm Yes,
Yeah.
I'm running on very little sleep.
Pure willpower,
Um,
say, at this point.
Actually, pure adrenaline. Those 3 days, the day before the summit and the Friday and Saturday of the summit,
Mhm.
I was a machine those 3 days. I mean, volunteers, a lot of volunteers in their posts, I think mentioned this as well. Where they were like, Soundarya worked from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m., but she didn't even eat during that time.
Yeah.
I think your body, it has enough adrenaline in the store that
Mhm.
it reserves it for these days, and then it, like, gives it out to you in ration. But those 3 days, I remember that I woke up the first day at 6:30
Mhm.
or 7 a.m. and I had this song playing in my head the entire morning.
Yeah.
It's it's a Taylor Swift song for some reason.
Mhm.
It's called Getaway Car.
Mhm.
I remember even for my book launch 2 years ago, the
Mhm.
song Don't Let Me Down by Chainsmokers was playing in my mind. No
Mhm.
idea why. Brain is weird. So I was playing this song on loop in my head,
Mhm.
and finally I get to the venue.
Mhm.
And the moment since I got to the venue till that the night of that day when I get out, I
Mhm.
have zero time to sit down and think or reflect. So I was coaching myself even before. I was like, look, it's going to be chaotic. A lot of people are going to need something from you.
You're right.
And it's very important that you stay present, you act with grace, you have compassion towards everything that's happening. So I think I coached myself well enough.
Thank you so much, Soundarya. And I wish I was there with you so we could have talked in person in such a beautiful nature. It's great to have you here sharing film. Thank you, Soundarya. Bye bye.